Are you ready? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last day of the APNIC 53 conference online version. Now, before I start, I would like to ask you all to be mindful of the code of conduct, which is published on the website, conference website, and also it's posted in the chat box. If you want to ask a question, you can either raise a hand or post your question in the chat box with the word question, so we can easily identify your questions. There will be plenty of opportunity for you to ask questions. There'll be open mics during the session. So during the open mic, that's your opportunity to either raise your hand or post your question in the chat box. And also, just a reminder, you can share a photo of you attending the AGM at APNIC 53 and post it on Twitter or Facebook. Use the hashtag #APNIC53 or #APRICOT 2022. There will be some prizes for it. So it's the last opportunity for you today to get your cameras on and take some pictures and post it on your favorite social media, Twitter or Facebook, and use the hashtag. So now I'll introduce the chair of the session for AGM, Gaurav Rajupadhyaya. He'll be chairing the 3 AGMs today, AGM 1, 2, and a long break, and then AGM 3. Over to you, Gaurav. Are you there, Gaurav? Hello, Gaurav. I see you. You're in the list. Maybe he stepped out of the... Paul, would you like to start, please?
Sure thing. Welcome, everyone, and thanks very much for being here, for joining this AGM. It's the traditional formal annual meeting that happens as part of APNIC with APRICOT every year. And so we've got quite a bit of business to go through today, including reporting from APNIC, reporting from the meeting, and the all-important EC elections. I think Gaurav may be joining us now. So Gaurav, can we hear you?
Yeah, sorry, apologies.
Okay.
I had a bit of a connectivity thing here.
Back to you.
Thank you, Paul. Welcome, everyone. Apologies for being a bit slow in getting in. Even after 2 years of pandemic, I think we still face technical trouble now and then. And so let me start the AMM for APNIC 53. Before we start, let me get something up here. Okay, thank you. Once again, I just have a few things to add right now so that we can start the AMM. This is the APNIC 53, and as usual, we do this in conjunction with APRICOT. Ideally, we would have been in person, but as unfortunate as it is, we continue to do it online. And as I said in the opening of APRICOT, hopefully this year we will meet in person, or next year in person, but in future, I expect us to be fully virtual all the time. Having said that, I'll just start with the introductions of the EC members here. That is the first order of business. So I request all the EC members to come online and on video. I'll start with myself. I am Gaurav Rajupadhyaya. I'm the chair of the APNIC EC. And I've been on the EC for at least 12 years now, or 11 years, I think is the right term, and has been a chair for the last 5 years. I'll go around the screen here Kenny?
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. My name is Kenny Huang. I'm APNIC Executive Council member and also APNIC Financial Treasurer. And it's been as I've been EC, I think I have the same year as Garrett. I think it's 11 years. I come from Taipei, working for TWNIC. And again, I welcome you to participate in APNIC annual member meeting here. Thank you.
Maj?
Yes, this is Yoshinobu Matsuzaki, EC member, and welcome and thanks for participating in the AGM. Thank you.
Sumon?
Thank you, Gaurav. Welcome everyone to APRIC 53. And it would be nice if the event happened in Dhaka in person, but for the third time, it has been deferred, APRIC meeting from Bangladesh due to many reasons. But we hope we can find this meeting sometime soon in Bangladesh in physical. But again, it's a great event and welcome everyone to APRIC 53.
Camps?
Hello, this is Camps here. I've been one of the APNIC EC members since 6 years. So welcome all to the AGM, and I do hope to see all of you face to face soon. Thank you.
Feng?
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm from TWNIC, and I became the EC last year. Welcome. That's all.
And then Achi.
Hi everyone, Achi here from Philippines. I'm also an APNIC Secretary, and together with Simon, this is my second year. We got elected last 2020. Welcome again and hope to see you in person sometime soon. Thanks.
So we've said we are a total of 8 EC members. 7 of us are elected. And Paul is the member of the EC in his ex officio capacity as the DG of APNIC. Paul?
Thanks, Gaurav. Yeah, it's an honor to be serving as APNIC DG. It's a privilege to be also on the EC with these 7 others. So thanks to those 7 right now for all of your support, and welcome everyone to the APNIC 53 AGM.
Thank you, Paul. I think we'll proceed on with the agenda for today, and we'll talk about a few things during the morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are, in the course of the next couple of hours here. The first order of business here is, as usual, we always have elections to the APNIC EC at the APRICOT meeting, and similarly we have one this week. I will invite Craig Nung, who is our General Counsel, to give a presentation on the election procedures.
Thank you, Gaurav. Good day, everyone. Welcome to APNIC 53, APRICOT 2022. I am Craig Ng. I am APNIC's General Counsel. So over the next 10 minutes, I will be running through with you the election procedures, and also to introduce you to the election chair, DY Kim, who will join us very shortly. So this is the 2022 APNIC Executive Council election. There are 3 APNIC EC members who are retiring by rotation after having served 2 years. The 3 are Cams, Sumon, and Archie. So that creates 3 vacant seats on the APNIC Executive Council. There are more details on the website. This is the timeline. As you can see, we had a nomination period that was open from 10th of January to 10th of February, and members have been able to vote since 17th of February. And the proxy appointment period was also open on the 17th of February. As at now, all members and proxies will be able to vote, and the voting is now all open and will close at 2 p.m. today, UTC +8 time zone. 2 p.m. today, UTC +8 time zone is when the voting will close. My screen has frozen. So voting entitlement, APNIC members are all entitled to vote, and the number of votes are determined by the membership tiers, ranging from 1 vote for associate members to 64 votes for extra large members. In terms of nomination, corporate contacts of APNIC members are required to complete and submit an online nomination form. So that period, as I mentioned earlier, started on the 10th of January and concluded on the 10th of February. For members, all votings are done through the Big Pulse voting system. As I mentioned, it started on the 17th of February and it will end today at 2 p.m. UTC +8 time zone. Online proxy appointment and voting. So as I mentioned earlier, proxy appointment was opened earlier on the 17th of February and ended on Tuesday, the 1st of March. So now the proxies can vote. The voting system has been open since 11 o'clock this morning, UTC +8, and will close at 2 p.m. today, UTC +8. At the close of voting, the election officers will hold an online meeting with the scrutineers and download the election results from the Big Pulse voting system. The results will then be emailed to the election chair in the presence of the scrutineers. The election results will be announced today at 2:35 p.m. UTC +8 time zone, approximately. So at the time of the announcement, the election chair will also disclose any notice of any disputes and how the dispute has been resolved, and to disclose any communication that the election chair receives from the scrutineers regarding any anomaly or any issue. So the results will be declared in this format, and I think most of you would be familiar with this format. We've used the Big Pulse system for a few elections now. The election chair will announce the results ranked in the order of the highest number of votes to the lowest. The election chair for this election is Dae-Young Kim, or DY, as he prefers to be known. He was appointed by the APNIC EC. He is independent from any APNIC member or candidate and has no interest in the election results. The election chair oversees the election process, appoints the election scrutineers, and declares the election results. He has the sole discretion to resolve any disputes. The election officers were also appointed by the APNIC EC, and they are Andre Gelderblom and Connie Chan, selected from the Secretariat staff. They administer the nomination process, the voting process, and they retrieve the online voting results. The scrutineers are Shamea Amakran from RIPE NCC and Xavier Vokia from ICANN. So the scrutineers are selected from internet organizations such as RIRs, ICANNs, ISOC. They are appointed by the election chair. They do not participate in the election, and they're independent from any members or candidates. Their responsibilities are to observe the downloading of the election results and to notify the election chair if they observe any anomaly. Now, if there are any complaint regarding the conduct of the election, they must be lodged in writing with the election chair and must be lodged no later than 1 hour before the scheduled declaration of the election results. The notice can only be lodged by nominees or members through their authorized voting representative and can only be channeled through election-chair@apnic.net. As I mentioned, the election chair has the discretion to resolve all dispute. That's it. Thank you very much. And I now have the pleasure of introducing the election chair, DY Kim, to you. DY, are you there?
Hello, everyone. I'm DY from South Korea. So just a short introduction of myself. I worked for university about 30 years. I'm already retired in 2015, and I live in a countryside, like you see in my back screen. And although I haven't worked for any NIC activities in Korea, so although I know the people from KL NIC, maybe as far as APRICOT is concerned, I think so it's familiar for, I've been working for APAN from 1997 and chaired the APAN for my retirement. And 2000 meeting, your 2000 meeting in Seoul, Korea in Walker Hill. Actually, I was the local organizing chair to prepare local cities for you. And because of this co-location of APAN and APRICOT, so I was there also in meetings like Hong Kong, at least 2. And your February 19 meeting in APRICOT in Daejeon. Actually, I was talking about myself. I was closed the deal with this CoreaNet to provide you free network, and Daejeon City to provide the venue, DCC, free for the joint conference for you. So that was my last service for the community. So, and I'm very honored to serve you as election chair this time today. So, according to the procedure, I'd like to introduce the nominees running for the APN election. As this is a virtual conference, we will not be having any live speeches today, but you can find all the nominee profiles and statements on the election web pages. Some nominees have also pre-recorded their short speeches. I encourage you to watch the videos before voting. So that in the order of 12 nominations received, I would like to introduce the nominees to you. Okay, the first person, Jonathan Gleason and Suman Ahmed Sabir, Aki Atienza, Lu Hung, Rob Thomas, C.B. Woodhouse, Kem Se-young, Joe Wooler, Ana Victoria Lopez Mascardo, Gaurav Kansal, and Latiful Kabir, Rafi Jami Jada, okay, and so online voting is open to both APNIC members and proxy voters. Moment. Okay, and then for the all nominees, I wish you all best luck in today's election. Member online voting is already open, and proxy online voting is now open to proxy voters who meet the voting criteria that was explained earlier by Craig. If anyone is having any voting or login issues, please contact APNIC help desk via phone, Skype, or live chat. I would like to declare that voting is open and will end at 14-hour UTC +8 today. I will come back to announce the election results during the AGM at 14:35 UTC +8 today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, BK. And thank you, Craig. Good luck to all the election candidates. And also reminder for everyone to complete their voting in the elections today. Next order of item here is the APNIC Secretariat report or activity report for 2021. We have two parts to this. We'll have the activity report before the break, and after the break, we'll have the activity plan for this year. So this is basically a sort of report card for APNIC in the last year. And this should be on the website by now or anytime now, as soon as we present it. So members can download and read that and provide us feedback for it. It lays out all of the work that is in progress and being done. Paul will do the presentation for this report. Paul.
Thank you, Gaurav. I'll share my screen. I trust I can be seen and heard, and someone will sing out if I can't. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. This is the point of the AGM where I present a Secretariat report for about the next 20 minutes. I hope there's a lot to cram in, but I hope to stick to time. And this is about the activities that have been underway at the Secretariat since the beginning of 2021. We work according to the strategic plan, which was set for 2020 to 2023. We're just coming into the midpoint of that plan, the second half of the plan. It's still the same. We have got 5 strategic pillars, which are illustrated in this classic diagram here: membership, registry, development, information, and capability. Those pillars are supported by the credo and values of the organisation, and in turn, the point of them is to support the mission of APNIC and the vision of APNIC for a global, open, stable, and secure internet. Now, we further subdivide the pillars into a whole collection of work streams which organise the activities of APNIC, and I'll be reporting roughly according to those pillars and work streams in order that you see here. So this starts with the membership pillar, therefore, and the all-important, the all-important member services work stream. So as you see on the charts here, we have a total membership as of the end of last year of 8,768, which is a 5% increase on the previous year. We also count the organisations that are served by NIRs as what we call NIR sub-accounts, exceeding 12,000. So the total, of course, of all organisations served by APNIC, as you see, is well over 20,000. The NIR sub-accounts grew impressively by 21% last year. We keep an eye on service satisfaction with currently 93% excellent and above average. We meet our SLA response time on the help desk and service queries diligently to 100% over the last year. We also track fraud attempts, which are becoming more frequent, but not so bad, I think, at 22 attempts that were detected and prevented last year. We've looked at the accessibility of the website and member services and resolved 81 issues of critical and high impact over that time. We have a user feedback group, which you should have heard about a few times this week, with more than 500 participants having submitted over 2,000 feedback items, and nearly 500 of those required action by us and by the APNIC Secretariat, and were resolved. Now, we also have, in addition to membership services, we have a membership products work stream, and this is all about the development of the specific products that serve members. These are primarily My APNIC, the Help Centre, and a new community platform which is under development. So that the Help Centre was fully deployed with a whole collection of articles which are available to help, hopefully provide you help, and it's not doing too badly according to the feedback we see. The community platform was launched in a pilot which had 110 users involved, And the idea of that pilot was to test out a few different ideas and configurations and designs and the platform itself, and to launch that product during the course of 2022. Now, MyAPNIC is probably what most members are most familiar with in the membership products suite. And in MyAPNIC, we've had quite a number of developments going on in the billing and accounting area in particular, to allow invoices in advance. You're able to download receipts. We've removed the installment surcharge. The voting system has been updated, or was updated, for APNIC 52 early in the year, along with an improved election dashboard for the transparency of that process. Internally, the architecture of MyAPNIC has been under conversion from a WordPress platform to Java, and that's also allowed us to implement what's called a microservices architecture within MyAPNIC, which has allowed billing, elections, and portal features to be more easily upgraded and deployed. So that's membership products. Moving on into registry products, the second pillar. The resource delegations over the last year have sort of recovered in part from a low period over the previous few years. So we've had the highest level of IPv4 delegations since back in 2016. IPv6 is sort of up near the top of what we've been seeing, in fact, almost all time, but certainly since 2016 as well. We had a rather interesting glitch or anomaly in the ASN delegations due to some very large collective ASN delegations to research and education networks in both India and China, I believe. So that blip on the ASN chart will be with us for a few years. I guess we'll return to normal after that. A high level of activity these days is transfers of IPv4 address blocks in particular, of course. And so the three charts here show both the number of transfer transactions and also the size of the transfers in total numbers of addresses, total /24s that is, for both transfers within APNIC at the top left, transfers between APNIC and other RIRs, most of those being incoming, of course, and at the bottom, the mergers and acquisitions transfers. Now, these are fairly hard to predict because transfers go up and down quite a bit, particularly in terms of the size of the blocks being transferred. But you can see a pretty constant level of activity there of a total of 50 plus transactions per month and a variable, as I say, number of addresses involved. The IPv4 address pool, we're underway at the moment with a reclamation project, which has been discussed before in this meeting. During the course of 2021, we were able to reclaim nearly 500,000 IPv4 addresses, 1,909 /24s. They were all returned to APNIC, returned to the free pool. In 2022, I mean, we've been preparing in 2021 for this project, and in 2022, we have got a remaining 4,300 or over 1 million IPv4 addresses to reclaim and expected to be reclaimed. So of course, the IPv4 address pool that APNIC manages is very close to exhausted, but we've got over 0.5% in total available, and that equates to quite a large number of addresses, particularly at the current slow rate of allocation under the last/8 policies. The chart on the right shows the transfer of addresses from the reserved pool into the available pool, which means during the course of the last year, we've also taken reserved addresses that have been quarantined for a period of time and moved them progressively into the available pool, which means the APNIC available pool is maintaining a fairly good level of what at the moment, 3.5 million or so IPv4 addresses. Now, moving on from registry services to registry products. Now, there are some aspects of MyAPNIC which are counted not as membership products, but as registry products because they deal directly with registry services, and the RPKI and Whois support in MyAPNIC fall into that category. So there's been some I think, very successful updates to MyAPNIC to improve route management, which covers both the RPKI ROA management and also the management of route objects in the WHOIS database. Also, some better user-controlled management of WHOIS attributes that are needed or demanded these days by certain of the CDNs to allow you to bring your own IP addresses to route into those CDNs. You use the WHOIS attributes to carry your ROA information to show your authority to do that. Atomic RPKI transactions to improve integrity of the RPKI services. The implementation and launch this year, that is, of the NIR API, which is a precursor to the general member API, which will be under development during this year. We've worked with the NRO to publish a joint RDAP profile that allows and ensures that the RDAP publications by each of the RIRs is consistent. We've improved internal performance of management systems and also started on something that you'll hear a bit more about, which is the design of the next generation registry. That's the back-end registry architecture that's supporting all of this stuff. We've been living with that for the best part of 20 years without a fundamental redesign. And so that's overdue by this time. Now I'll move along to the next pillar, which is development. And this pillar has got quite a lot of activities involved as APNIC is undertaking, as I'll show you, a few more internet development activities these days. We count policy development in this bag, and during 2001, we had a fair amount of activity in the policy development space. There were quite a number of policies. Quite a number, as listed here, reached consensus. They were adopted and have been implemented by the APNIC Secretariat. And in a couple of cases, those policies have actually, if they haven't been passed, then they've come back to the policy SIG. I believe at least a couple were discussed this week. The other thing that happened in the policy development space in the last year was to establish a policy document review working group with 44 community participants. And that working group actually was responsible for 9 proposals coming into the policy SIG in APNIC 52. 4 of those were accepted and reached consensus. So that, I think, is a great community effort to help to improve policy documentation at APNIC, and thanks to everyone who is involved, including, as pictured here, Bertrand Cheria, who is the chair of the policy SIG. APNIC conferences, just a very quick summary of what happened last year. Of course, a year ago was APNIC 51 with APRICOT 2021, 852 attendees from 61 economies. There were 416 in tutorials, 552 in the conference. There were 3,855 YouTube views of the conference content. The latest conference last year, APNIC 52, nearly as many attendees and economies and participation. So that too was a successful conference with a few introductions, a few new features introduced, like the comment chat function and automatically transcribing the conference proceedings using something called Otter, and some improvements which I mentioned before to the election process through MyAPNIC. Something pretty exciting last year was a new fellowship program. Because of the online conduct of our conferences these days, we at the Secretariat, the comms team, really wanted to put some effort into the fellowship program and making sure that we could continue to really support next-gen fellows and participants through that program. So we had a program that went on for 6 months in the run-up to APNIC 52. With technical policy and governance presentations, training by the Academy. We had community mentors, thanks to those who volunteered to help the next-gen participants there. In total, there were 46 fellows who registered for that program, and nearly all of them attended very consistently, 24 female and 22 male fellows. And in total, they undertook 136 Academy courses and 26 webinars, and gave the program a net promoter score of 92 out of 100, which is phenomenally successful. So congratulations to everyone involved and everyone who supported that, and to the fellows themselves. Community engagement is something that takes quite a lot of different effort during COVID times, but the charts here show that we really have maintained a high level of engagement in community events and also support for community events, which I'll go into. But during the course of 2021, 293 community events, the majority or the largest share of those in training, of course, 116, followed by security events, governmental engagement events, internet governance events, technical community, NOGs, and so on and so forth. We also track those according to the sub-regions of the Asia Pacific that those events occur in, including the global events, which are counted as being outside of our region, but you can see the vast majority of activity happens within the Asia Pacific, of course, and we track the number of events and engagements on a monthly basis as well, as you see at the bottom. Drilling down a bit more, we supported 28 technical community events last year, including 15 NOGs with sponsorship, speakers and training. We had webcast and technical support from the APNIC tech and events teams for 16 of those events. We also supported Manners Fellowships for some of those events as well. In addition to that 28, 43 more security events, including 7 training sessions, supporting 6 CERT events, serving on the program committee for AusCERT and the first annual conference, and also supporting community software and services among the technical community, both regionally and globally. But we've been able to provide some financial support through the foundation to PeeringDB, IX Manager, IXPDB, and Shadow Server. So that's significant financial support to those internet community services. In the next area of internet cooperation, which is internet governance and outreach to and engagement with internet organizations like the iStar organizations, we worked with LACNIC in supporting a new study on the technical success factors of the internet, and that was published at IGF in 2021. Worked with the NRO executive committee, the EC and the coordination groups with a whole lot, 34 online meetings, participating in the OECD's ITAC and the Internet Technical Community, Tech Community Group, in all the other RIR meetings, also in ICANN, IETF as usual, providing some support to ICANN, particularly on the root server governance committee and the evolution working group and the SAC of ICANN. Excuse me. Internet governance, plenty of work ongoing around the IGF. We have one APNIC staff member as a member of the MAG these days, and also of the Support Association Executive Committee. We actually helped to conduct, APNIC staff helped to conduct 3 IGF sessions at the 2021 IGF, and that was as part of 62 preparatory meetings that APNIC staff were involved with. Likewise, the Asia Pacific Regional IGF had 60 preparatory meetings over the entire year, including the multi-stakeholder steering group, the program committee, fellowships, and so forth. We also conducted 2 workshops at the AP Regional IGF. There have been regional IGF activities for Southeast Asia Pacific, for the Asia Pacific Academies and Schools of Internet Governance, and national IGFs in Hong Kong, Bangladesh, India, Bangladesh again, Vietnam, Australia. And I think that all shows that the Internet Governance Forums, that whole community and movement is still very active, even during times when it's all being done online, and APNIC is there always trying to help people understand the IP addressing technical community side of things, what APNIC does, and how important the work is that we all do together. Moving on to governmental engagement, there were 25 engagements with intergovernmental agencies, 19 of those with ITU, also with the Asia Pacific Telecommunity. We worked particularly to provide training and technical support in Mongolia to the e-Mongolia initiative. There were 5 OECD meetings and there was concrete work Jeff Houston helped with on routing and DNS security papers in the OECD, engaging with national law enforcement agencies, providing training at Cyber Safety Pacifica, participating in Interpol activities, including the Global Cybercrime Expert Group and their forum on ransomware. And just taking an overview there of community participation in the APNIC activities themselves, we had 950 participants at SIGs across the year. We had 183 at 4 different online consultations, including the policy SIG consultation that I mentioned, that the routing security SIG also had an online session between the APNIC meetings. 40% of SIG leadership these days is female, and that's a great achievement. Thanks to all who are stepping forward for that. SIG guidelines, policy SIG consultations. Encouraging the next gen newcomers as well. Plenty to report there, with literally hundreds of conference newcomers, blog subscribers, literally thousands of new Academy users, Twitter followers, LinkedIn followers. The APNIC website seems to be attracting more sessions for slightly shorter sessions. Maybe that's a good sign as to how efficient the APNIC website has become. APNIC Academy carries all of the APNIC training activities these days, all of it online due to COVID-19 restrictions. We've had a big focus on growing the community trainer network. So 28 community trainers helped with 68 training events last year. There's a total of 30 community trainers, and that group is growing. We've been extending the course content, the translation of courses, the multilingual availability of courses, technical assistance last year for 34 members on a whole lot of specific technical topics that we feel that we can help with in particular, and a few stats there on the right-hand side of the number of courses, students, locations, etc. RPKI is still a big priority. We had 11 economies in the Asia Pacific reaching 90% of ROA coverage in the last year, and that's a fantastic achievement. But we had training events, success stories published on the website, a new ROA measurement tool that's available and linked there, and a few charts there which generally show that that ROA usage is going upwards and to the right, which is the right direction. Infrastructure support, IXPs being supported in Fiji, Pakistan, Maldives, Bhutan, root servers. We had a big plan for root servers during the year, and I actually got one of them deployed only, but 11 of them very well progressed in 11 other locations, and they're underway now. COVID caused quite a lot of coordination and equipment delays. Community HoneyNet, the security threat sharing platform, new partners for a total of 15, and new content being assembled in the HoneyNet datasets, working with RIPE Atlas with our colleagues at RIPE NCC as usual, on maintaining the connectedness of RIPE anchors and Atlas probes in the region. IPv6 hasn't been forgotten by any means, so 17 online tutorials during the last year, distributed around the region. We are measuring now through APNIC Labs, shown there, 37.65% IPv6 capability around the region. And that is, although the growth seems to have slowed down, that really is an onwards and upwards trend, which is very good to see. And of course, if you want to know more about actual deployment of IPv6, there are the deployment success stories, 42 of them now online. Now I'll be racing a bit faster through the remaining pillar information products, which include the blog, and notably the blog continues to receive a lot of attention, and it sparked the production of a new podcast called Ping, which is also growing pretty successfully during the year since it was launched. There are 3 information products, the Resource Explorer Rex, formerly called the Internet Directory, which is your way of accessing data and details about all the resources that are being maintained and managed by APNIC. Dash, the dashboard for autonomous system health, that is has received some improvements. Likewise, NetOps, the network operators toolbox, and we're recording some stats on all 3 of those for the Net Promoter Score, usability, returning users, etc. Trying to show and keep those products active and relevant to APNIC members. Research and analysis, primarily Jeff Houston, but also Joao Damas, who works with Jeff these days. Jeff maintains an incredible load and rate of providing presentations to many different events, 41 during the year, in addition to 43 blog posts and 3 ping podcasts for us. Plenty of research over some of the usual research activities, as we all know about, but also cooperation in particular with ICANN on DNSSEC measurements, with Cloudflare on collaboration on the 1.1.1.1 resolver. Lastly, capability. We include all of our technical infrastructure maintenance and support under the organizational capability, even if that infrastructure is supporting many of our development and registry and membership products. But you can see quite a number of things. I won't go through these in detail, but under the architecture of our systems and technical coordination, the network and infrastructure operations, the security, the system and platform operations, and enterprise service management. So our services availability was maintained at 99.99 for critical and 99.98 for what we'd call non-critical services. I want to mention here a few details about the internal security operations at APNIC, because this is becoming more and more a priority, as I think everyone would understand. We have a vulnerability reporting program, 52 reported during the year, 40 of those solved, the most urgent ones, of course, 12 of them still in progress. But having run that internally, we've now decided to outsource the vulnerability, the triage and reporting process to a group called HackerOne, along with continuous penetration testing and another vulnerability scanning exercise through a group called Rapid7. Now, at the last meeting, we did have a report on an incident with a Whois dump file that was made publicly available on cloud storage. Inadvertently, we reported all of that at APNIC 51, but at APNIC 52, sorry, but just to emphasize, we've reviewed internal policies on testing data, on cloud storage usage and configuration, replacing the old password hash algorithm with bcrypt so that any leaked objects by any means are less vulnerable. We're in the process of replacing email updates through AutoDBM. That's a very old method of updating Whois, replacing that with an API, along with software development practices and other security investments in 2022. We got ourselves ready during the year for certification for ISO 27001 as well, which is something that will happen in 2022. Moving on finally to quality and capability, we've had our external surveillance audit this last year for ISO 9001, 2016 edition, successful audit of 2020 finances, very strong and organised response to COVID, which is both a necessity for operations and also a sort of health and safety legal obligation, working to allow and support a hybrid model of APNIC staff in working from home and from the office. In addition, moving over to agile work methods for all teams, that'll be completed this year, but we got to 76% last year. There were 20 permanent and 5 casual roles filled during the year, including welcoming 2 new directors, Carla Scarda as Services Director and Nathan Harvey as Finance Director, and I hope you will have met those 2 newcomers to the APNIC team this week. We have a workspace review underway at the moment. The APNIC office has become quite full, and certainly if we try to accommodate all staff in the office at the moment, we actually can't do that. So we're looking at reviewing the workspace requirements for our 2 to 3 year future needs, because after that time we are planning a relocation of the APNIC office, and that's something that I'll mention in a future presentation. Something that you would have seen in the last report was our overall, and you'll see this in more detail in the detailed annual report 2021, is the success measures that we're attaching to activities. And so here's a summary of the overall success measure achievements for all of the success measures across the organization. So we had an 80% achievement, 6% sort of nearly there, and 14% for various reasons not completed this year. Now, I'd like to point you to the annual report publication, which is on the website. Of course, it's available now at that URL. And thank you very much for your attention. I've gone 10 minutes over my 20-minute slot. So my apologies to Garab for that. It just seemed I had too much to say. Happy to answer questions anytime during the open mics today. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Let me see how we are doing on time. We do have 8 minutes or so left on the clock here. So I'll open this up for open mic. Hey, Sunny, can you explain how open mic is going to work for the audience?
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. Either they can post the question or comment in the chat box, or please raise hand using the Zoom control bars in the reactions, and we will allow them to speak. So you have two options. Okay, I see a question for Paul in the chat. Gaurav, would you like me to read that? It's question to Paul. Where did you say APNIC is moving to?
Well, that's a very good question, and we haven't. We knew during 2021 that we were coming up to a time needing to plan relocation, but just as of the beginning of this year, we do have a new site. That site is being purchased actually by the Asia Pacific Internet Development Foundation. I'm going to report on that a bit later on today. But it is still in Brisbane. It's an inner, sort of inner, not quite inner city, but inner city circle site in Brisbane, and I'll be giving you some more details later. Thanks, Rob.
Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, if people are wondering if we are moving away from Brisbane, no. And I think given the flooding in Brisbane, Paul, I hope the new site is kind of not in a flood-prone zone. That's a bigger concern.
It's above the waterline, that's right.
Okay.
Definitely a consideration. We might all need to work a bit on global warming if that's going to be a very long-term safety factor, but let's be optimistic about that.
Any more questions there? Otherwise, thank you, Paul, for the excellent report. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all the APNIC staff who do the hard work. And the last 2 years have not been easy. And well, the last week was probably not easy, or well, that was this week with the flooding. So, you know, I think the Secretariat keeps our community standards high, and we appreciate that the Secretariat has been able to work well during the last 2 years, very well. And the Secretariat report shows that. Now, having said that, one of the things that the participants here may have noticed is since the last 2 years, or since about a year ago, a year and a half ago, I think the first time we did this was in Melbourne, we have changed the reporting format of the annual report. Now we have 6 special pillars, and we report by activity, and we have target goals and what we are trying to do under each of those. So please do review the detailed activity report that is on the website. I'm told that it is already on the website now, so you should be able to get it. But that also leads to the next important thing is all the changes, and what we are seeing is the membership and our stakeholders and our extended community wants to know certain things, or wants APNIC to focus on certain things. And the APNIC EC runs a 4-year planning cycle with a 2-year review every 2 years. And that is driven heavily by the APNIC survey that we do every 2 years. So if you see that trend I'm going into is after the last survey or last strategic planning, we changed a few things. We spent some time looking at how can we show the activities more clearly to the community of what APNIC is doing in so many different areas. And that was the output was in the report. Similarly, this year, this is a survey year. We'll have a survey this year. And I think the thing to remember is every even number year, we have a survey. And the Secretary is going to publish the survey schedule. It will be done around June, July timeframe. We do the survey at that time, and then we present the output or the results of the survey during our August, September meeting. So we encourage you to participate. Of course, when we release the survey, we'll provide some gifts and some incentives. But I'm hoping the community and our members and stakeholders will continue to provide strong feedback through the survey on our activities. And Paul basically put in the link there, and looks like there is some interest in hosting some root servers from Joe. And I think, Joe, you can talk to Chihu. I already see that responded, so I don't think we need to respond that. And given that I don't want to keep talking for another 2 minutes, we'll break early and we'll convene back at, I would say 18 minutes from now. Or
in about
roughly,
20 minutes from now, yeah.
Yeah, roughly 20 minutes, is that right, Sonny?
Yeah. Roughly
Okay,
about 19 minutes now.
Yeah, so around 19 minutes from now. Well, actually, it is almost 15 minutes, but that's fine. We can come back in 15 minutes past the hour.
Yeah.
15 minutes past the hour in places with time zones that don't shift by 30 minutes or 45 minutes. So please do your math, and we will see you in roughly 15 to 20 minutes. Hey,
I just want to remind,
Sonny, is this the same Zoom link that is going to be here, or we're supposed to sign out and sign in?
no, I was just going to say that it will be the same link for all the 3 AGM sessions today. So even when we have the long break after the next one, it's the same link.
Okay, so you don't need to sign out of Zoom. You
No.
can stay here,
Yeah.
and then we'll be back in, roughly 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Play some background.
Hello, everyone. We are back. Hope you had a quick break. I know that I would generally miss this, not being able to hang out with folks in the hallway during these breaks, but here we are. In the second half of the AMM second session, again, this will be another hour, and we'll start with Paul again. As I said earlier, part one of the Secretariat report was the activity report for the previous year. Now Paul is going to present the activity plan for this year. Paul.
Thank you, Gaurav. Coming right up. Okay, so it's me again for another 20 minutes, hopefully more on time this time. I think it will be. This is the activity plan for 2022. It's the result of processes that started much earlier in 2021, of course, and it's already underway. But this is hopefully a good summary of what we are planning to do in this year ahead. Just a reminder of the planning process. Gaurav mentioned the regular APNIC survey that happens every 2 years, and that's part of this planning process, because we take the input from the survey from the community via the survey, and that's really the most important part for the APNIC Secretariat, for the APNIC EC, and understanding members' needs and priorities, and where APNIC members think that APNIC should be heading, where we should be spending resources, and so on. Those survey inputs go into the 4-year strategy, of course. They also go into the activity planning, which is the implementation of that 4-year strategy on an annual basis. And then what we do, and this is an example of that process from the Secretariat, is that we are trying to report back as richly and usefully as possible back to the community, including APNIC members, through the AGM, the AMM, through Secretariat reporting, continually through the activity tracker, through the blog updates, through the published annual report. And you'll see here during this report that we are progressively over recent years trying to bring more measurable targets to everything that APNIC does, to help us to express more clearly what is on the plan for the coming year, and to work out whether or not we've met that plan and done what we've intended to do at the end of each year. And I want to thank the APNIC EC for providing the sort of impetus and the encouragement to do things that way. It adds more discipline, maybe a bit more workload in terms of planning and so on, but it's definitely well worth doing. And I hope that APNIC members in the community will see the results of that during this year and during this report and as time goes on. A reminder of that strategic plan, the classic diagram, the 5 pillars, which are split into work streams. So again, we're structuring the work in the coming year according to these work streams. And you'll see that in terms of how the targets and KPIs are being expressed as well. On top of laid over the pillars and the work streams, for 2022, we've also named a number of focus areas that kind of drive our focus and bring together the work under all the work streams together towards particular ends. And so there's a few focal areas for this year, which I've touched on already in some of the reporting for last year, because these tend to continue. But what we're looking at is, number one is security, integrity, and resilience. And I think everyone understands that APNIC's own availability, our processes and systems need to be strengthened continually in line with demand. That includes strengthening our incident response capability, and also working with the other RIRs on strengthening the security of the entire RIR system, and those discussions are underway. There's the next generation registry. These are the new services of RPKI and its applications like ROA, RDAP and APIs, maybe other critical registry products that can come along, and that new registry architecture that underlies that and makes it all work. The connected online community, building online connection. We've always tried to do it. The COVID pandemic over the last couple of years has really helped us. I hate to say it, but it's helped APNIC to focus, and I think the community to focus and to get more used to tools. The tools are getting better. We want to take an online first approach to all of our events in future, even when we are back to face-to-face, because we know that there's always more people who are in the community and out there and interested than the ones who've got the good luck to be able to attend, or the resources to attend face-to-face. Capacity for development. The development pillar is getting bigger under external funding. APNIC is implementing many of the development projects that are coming through the APNIC Foundation, and we need to kind of right-size ourselves for those growing demands to design and deliver services where they're needed. So under the first pillar, membership is described here as designing and delivering world-class products and services for members, engaging with members and ensuring accountable governance of APNIC as a membership organisation. And across the three work streams of the membership pillar, which are membership services, membership products and membership reporting, we've got a whole lot of goals. And most of these days are expressed as either numerical goals or very strict sort of binary targets to achieve or to deliver. And they're all listed here under the membership pillar. We're increasing membership outreach as measured by touch points. We're maintaining our help desk SLA and maintaining service satisfaction as we have done in the last year. We're increasing the user feedback engagement, we hope by 20%, and achieving an overall usability score of 68 out of 100 at least. Growing members by at least 492, that's our projection of net membership growth for next year. Increasing our survey response by at least 10%. Something very specific to our historical resource, both the membership structure changes and the recovery of unused address spaces to continue contacting remaining historical resource holders. There's 1,900 of them, and transitioning what we have remaining, which is 3,778 historical resource assignments, transitioning those into the proper membership or non-member service agreement. Product satisfaction of 80+%, improving MyAPNIC specifically in its information architecture, contact management, its dashboard, and its auditing and activity logs. Improving the reporting of invalid contacts, voting eligibility checks, and publishing all of our reports in line with our KPIs. So that's a set of goals under the membership pillar, which are distributed across the three membership work streams. And they're expressed as targets and as KPIs. And that's the way I'm reporting in this particular report. But if you choose to take a look at the activity plan document itself, which will be linked at the end of this, then you'll be able to see the full details of what's being planned and more on each of those activities. The next pillar is registry. And so under the registry pillar, we're attempting to deliver and develop world-class registry products and services, and also to ensure the responsible stewardship of the number of resources under the management of APNIC and the APNIC community. Three registry work streams, which are registration services, registry products, and policy development. And the targets for that are that we will increase percentage, or we will see an increase with members of IPv6 uptake to at least 70%. We'll increase validation of registration records to 85% plus. We'll achieve full compliance with the NRO's RDAP profile and the provisioning of that RDAP service. and also comply with the identifier technology health indicator reporting, which the NRO is committed to in line with, in cooperation with ICANN. We're migrating the reverse DNS API to updated systems. We are pre-validating RPKI changes. We're already doing some of that in the RPKI management interfaces, but to pre-validate ROAs, for instance, as they are being added to the system, to make sure that that ROAs that are being added aren't in conflict with the actual routing state is kind of an important and obvious thing to do in pre-validation. We're updating the authorization mechanisms for WHOIS. I mentioned that earlier in connection with the what we call the bucket incident, where the WHOIS dump files were made available last year. We're improving the identity associated with ASN delegations as recorded in WHOIS and MyAPNIC. Improving yet more the ROA update process in the process of transfers. That is where a ROA needs to be withdrawn and then reissued in case of an address-based transfer. We're progressing the development of the member API. I mentioned the NIR API was launched this year after a lot of development work last year, and that's going to be continuing as we discussed in the products and services session this week. Continuing to progress the re-implementation of the internal registry in Java, that's part of the re-architecture work, and meeting 100% of the policy implementation timelines. And that will apply to us this year, as we've had at least 3 policies approved already in the course of this week's meeting. The third pillar is development. This is investment in sustainable development of the regional internet community, industry, infrastructure, building capacity for best practice operations across the internet technical community as well. So there are several pillars under development for APNIC conferences, for supporting the foundation, community engagement, community participation, APNIC Academy, and internet infrastructure support. We're looking to achieve at least 1,200 conference attendees and at least 400 of them being new, with a net promoter score of at least 50 for APNIC conferences this year. Supporting 30+ community events, at least 4 new certs and 12 security events. We're looking to continue to participate in IGF, including APR IGF and economy specific or national, if you like, IGFs. Participating in at least 12 engagements with governments and intergovernmental agencies. That's pretty important with respect to ITU this year, as there are major ITU events happening in 2022. Achieving 250+ APNIC engagements overall, 850 at least online participants in special interest groups. Launching community platform with at least 500 users, achieving the fellowship net promoter score of at least 80, achieving at least 100 instructor-led tutorials or workshops and webinars, 18 webinars. We're looking to increase the online academy users by 25%. That's a pretty ambitious target, but I think it indicates how successful the academy has been and can continue to be. Recruiting 12 new, what we call retained community trainers, and 10 additional volunteer community trainers to increase that network, as I mentioned before. We're looking to at least 8 RPKI and at least 8 IPv6 related training sessions, continuing to improve the Academy platform with mobile support in particular, and with full integration with the new SSO single sign-on for APNIC community members. Continuing to increase the HoneyNet platform partnership by 30%, in supporting at least 2 new IXP deployments, and supporting, as we have done, ROV implementation of IXPs in the region in at least 4 cases, and supporting deployment of 25 en route Anycast instances during this year. As I mentioned, 11 of those are well underway and hopefully can be achieved fairly readily in the first half of the year, and then considerably more before the end of the year. The information pillar is about supporting internet development with network information services with research outcomes that are of value to the community. So we've got simply information products and research and analysis as the two work streams under the information pillar, looking to continually improve the reach of the APNIC blog and the new Ping podcast, reaching 1,000 users a month for NetOx and Rex, at least 500 a month for Dash, achieving a Net Promoter Score of 60 plus on all three of those information products, expanding Rex, the Resource Explorer, to include global publicly accessible delegation data, as well as the stats for RPKI and DNSSEC capability in our region, or globally, I guess, from the APNIC Labs data. We're looking to extend the Dash service to non-ASN holders. It was originally conceived as a dashboard for AS Health, for AS holders, but there's plenty of Dash functionality that can apply to those who have prefixes assigned or allocated to themselves without necessarily having ASNs. We have a notification service and developing a notification API for products. So there are opportunities in the information products to be sending automatic alerts, for instance, to malicious traffic that might be emanating from a member network to alert member technical contacts of those. And so the notification service is part of that. Improving comparison tools for NetOx, as I guess we have in the Rex product. We're looking to conduct 2 new cooperative research activities with other internet organizations, publishing at least 12 articles and reports from the research area and delivering at least 12 presentations. And judging by the past record, those particular targets should be achievable. Finally, on capability, this is about the organization itself, about providing stable and secure technical infrastructure to support all of the APNIC operations and services, to continue to develop a strong service culture among the people of APNIC, where we are all, those of us at the APNIC Secretariat, and I hope everyone engaged with APNIC is committed to the vision and values that APNIC promotes. We want to sustain a healthy and resilient organisation. So under we have capability work streams of the internal technical infrastructure, the finance and business services, employee experience and organisational governance. We're looking to maintain the 99.99% availability for critical services, at least 99.95% for less critical, which we've well achieved this year. But we're also looking to achieve readiness in 2022 to commit to 99.999, that is 5 nines availability for highly critical services. So those relate, of course, to in particular to the operational RPKI services that need to be available 24/7. We want to be ready to commit to that from the end of next year. That involves also maintaining and improving our 24/7 incident response team that would be needed to support that in case of any downtime problems. Also related, the deployment of additional RPKI hardware security modules, the achievement of ISO 27001 certification, things like automation of patch management across our systems, improving authentication and access management, and then moving on to more back-end organizational work, ensuring the successful financial audit as we do every year. Improving our monthly reporting from the BI system, which includes a growing data warehouse these days to provide a consistent source of truth for all of the APNIC critical data. That includes data ingestion systems for that repository. We're looking at travel and request and expense auditing, completion of the Agile adoption, which, as I mentioned earlier, reached 76% this year. Looking to a new internal communications function. We currently have a comms department that kind of looks after internal communications generally, but we want a new function to look after that better. Maintaining our staff turnover of definitely less than the 15% benchmark, which we achieve. Employing a new people management portal, which is under launch at the moment, and full recertification under ISO 9001. I won't go into the budget for all of this in detail here because I'm actually preempting Kenny, the treasurer, in presenting the budget for next year. But we do, of course, these days provide the budget, we plan the budget, and we report the budget and report against the budget according to the 5 pillars and the work streams. So you can see here the distribution of both operational and CapEx expenditure according to those work streams, according to those pillars, and in more detail, we can look at them according to work streams. So you see here the relative distribution of expenditure, of OPEX, that is, according to the 5 different work streams. The development pillar there is growing, and is growing in particular under the support or the adoption by APNIC of new activities that are funded by the APNIC Foundation. And I just wanted to give a preview here of the foundation funded activities which are planned in next year. And these are contributions. This is according to the work stream. These are the contributions from the foundation to each of these work streams in person year, that is, let's say FTEs, employee full-time equivalents, and the operational expenses. And you can see here that at the bottom line, we've got 14.7 full-time staff equivalents being contributed by the foundation funded activities next year, and over 6 million Australian dollars towards the total APNIC budget for across all of these work streams in the development sector. That's only part of what the foundation does, and we'll touch on that a bit later in this meeting. Now, for more information, as I said, the 2021 annual report is available online already. The activity plan and budget, as I've just reported, is also available. And you can see both of those side by side at these URLs here. And a couple of other newly updated features, which also help, I think, in transparency of all of this reporting and planning, is the activity tracker for 2022. And that's where you can actually see the progress according to those traffic light success indicators of all of the different work streams and activities on the APNIC 2022 annual plan, and that'll be updated continually. And there's also, for greater transparency of product development, this is something that you would have heard about in the products and services session this week. We've got a new product roadmap tool that allows you to sort of dig down into all of the different products as we define them at APNIC, whether they're under membership registry or information products, and look at the status of those products in terms of what's been planned, what's been achieved, what's underway, what's coming up. And that I hope will provide a much greater level of clarity and more to talk about when it comes to how the APNIC Secretariat is delivering on our commitments over the coming year. That's all for the activity plan for this year. I'll hand it back to you, Gaurav. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. There is a lot of work being planned, but obviously when the work is being planned, we do need money for it. So, what I'll do now is next is invite Kenny, the treasurer for the EC, to present both the book of accounts, like the treasurer's report, which not only has our budget for next year, but also the financial report from the previous year. Kenny?
Okay, right. Thank you, Gaurav. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And let me share my screen first. Okay, this is Kenny Huang. It's my pleasure to deliver a treasury report to you. Can you see the screen? Okay. The treasury report including 4 parts. The first part will be 2021 financial report. Second part will be 2021 activity report. The third one will be budget, 2022 budget and activity plan. And last one will be 2022 budget funding from APIDT or APNIC Foundation to the APNIC as well. So here goes the 2021 financial report. Here's a 2021 financial highlight. Just in briefing, for our equity position increased by 4.7 million as compared to fiscal year 2020. And our fair value surplus for the financial asset increased 1.1 million. Our financial stability measure reached to 18.28 months of operating expense as the first time in the history reached such a high value. And go to operating surplus. Our operating surplus of 3.6 million exceeded budget by 2.1 million. Revenue 550,000 below budget. Our expense 2.7 million below budget, largely because of a result of COVID restriction. Our audit outcome, we reassigned Ernst & Young to be our new auditor, and we have very successful audit report. So here is the statement of financial position. As I mentioned, we come to the first slide. By the end of last year, our total financial asset will be 57.1 million in Australian dollars. Our total liability until end of last year will be 18.3 million. So our net asset until end of last year, total net asset will be 38.8 million Australian dollars. That's our financial stability measure. As I mentioned, we already reached to 18.28 months, and the number of months of expense covered by our total equity. So you can see the APNIC capital reserve. Basically, we have 3 columns of capital reserve. The first part from the bottom will be a blue color stand for our cash, and the orange color stand for our financial asset. The deep red color stand for our property. So our majority of capital reserve remain in financial asset and cash or cash equivalent. The operating and net surplus until end of last year, the operating net surplus will be 3.6 million, and our net surplus will be 4.6 million Australian dollars. So here come to the budget and actual result overview from left to right. The left-hand side, the first column, first bar stand for the blue color, 1.4 million stand for the budget for operating surplus. Then goes to budget variance of operating revenue. Then go to 103,000, that's investment income. So next one will be the budget variance of operating surplus, 2.7 million. The next one with 3.6 million will be actual operating surplus. Then we have 1 million from fair value gain from financial asset, and we have 5.7 thousand tax benefit, and total come out with the 4.7 million. That's our net surplus. So here come to the revenue side. Until end of last year, our actual operating revenue was 25.5 million. The majority revenue come from membership fee, and the total revenue until end of last year was 26.4 million. Last expense until end of last year, the actual expense, you can see the total expense was 22.8 million. That including the majority item, including salary and personnel expense, and also we have some computer expense and also some professional fee as well. So let's CAPEX for 2021. We don't spend too much on the capital expenditure. You can see until end of last year, the actual expense was 492,000 Australian dollars. Here show the membership growth. until end of last year, we almost have 8,768 members. And the new members come from 3 economies, including Australia, Bangladesh, and Hong Kong. And also we have top 3 close members also from Australia, Hong Kong, and China. Now you can see the membership distribution in different category, member category, and yellow color stand for small and orange color stand for very small. So majority of membership are small or either small or very small membership. So here come to the membership by economy, the top 3 member economy, including Australia, Bangladesh, and Hong Kong. So here's the audit report. We have replaced, according to our audit policy, we have new auditor appointment. Ernst & Young undertook the audit of 2021 account. Previous auditor, Deloitte, he advised he unable to complete the audit within the APNIC timeframe due to resourcing issues. So APNIC appoint tier 1 auditor, including PwC, Ernst & Young, and only Ernst & Young has a capacity to complete the audit within required timeframe. So our audit outcome, Ernst & Young issue an unmodified audit report. The account give a true and fair view of APNIC financial positions and also comply with the relevant accounting standards. So here goes to the third part, 2021 activity reporting, and most of the reporting items have been reported by Paul already. So I here just here try to summarize some key points. As Paul mentioned, we have 5 pillars. So lots of expense covered by different pillars, including membership, registry service, and development, information, and capacity building. So that's different pillars that have breakdown into different items for different expense. So last one would be, the third one would be the 2022 budget and activity plan. Some methodologies, for example, like how we calculate the budget for 2022, including 2020 APNIC survey and 2022 APNIC activity plan, and also 2022 priority as established through our operating planning process, and also through the cost analysis of a recruiting plan, and also the most important, the membership projection that's derived from analysis of historical membership growth and recent trend. And also some projection technique, for example, like a membership are calculated using recent trend of membership activity, and also interest income based on the cash deposit, interest rate, and maturity date. And investment income based on the forecast provided by APNIC investment advisor. Expense, also we have APNIC ERP system allow the verification for all current approved spending commitment. And the date is combined with the new plan expenditure in 2022. And also our taxation status, APNIC taxation status as a maturity organization by the way of private ruling from Australian Taxation Office. That will be end in June 2022. So we already working on trying to renew the taxation private ruling that will commence in the first quarter of 2022. So operational and investment activity, including operational activity, including all routine activity, APNIC activity, and our core member and registry service, additional service as established and expected, and regular continued improvement activity, investment activity, including new product and services as Paul reported, and some substantial service improvement and or upgrade, an internal system and process upgrade, multi-year project expenses, and usually not mandatory. So for budget 2022 operational and investment, in the total budget for the total budget for 2022 will be operating revenue will be 32.1 million, and our operating expense were 27.3 million. So total operating surplus for 2022 the budget would be 4.8 million. And the surplus after investment will be, we will have sorry, not surplus. We have deficit after investment because we have committed foundation committed funded project expenditure. So after the project expense, the deficit will be $800,000. So that's the budget revenue for 2022. And you can see the 5-year goal from 2018 until 2022. Our this year budget for 2022 operating revenue will be 32.1 million, and investment income were 800, and so total revenue will be 32.9 million. Sorry. The budget expenditure, budget expense for 2022, the budget for total expense will be 33.7 million, including the major item, including salary and personal expense. And as I mentioned, foundation committed funded project expense, 6.3 million, and computer expense, 2.2 million, and professional fee, 1.8 million. And also travel expense, we expect probably we have partially starting to travel due to the less restriction from COVID. So that's the 5-year trend. We try our best to balance our revenue and expense. So that will be the 5-year trend compared to revenue and expense. The budget for capital expenditure, as you know, we spend not so much on capital expenditure. The allocation budget for capital expenditure in 2022 will be equipment and software were 1.1 million. So total capital expenditure will be 1.4 million. So that's CAPEX, capital expenditure in 5-year trend. So I break down the activity plan. Actually, Pro already mentioned detail of activity plan for within the 5 pillars. So that's an operational activity plan regarding to operational and investment. So last one will be the budget funding from APIDT, APNIC Foundation, and also APNIC as well. Our project funding and partner, including APIDT and some project donor. And so like here is the funding flow from project donor direct to APNIC Foundation, or either from APIDT to APNIC Foundation. APIDT also have some critical research projects such as Arena PAC, that's a submarine cable project. And from APNIC Foundation, we have go through the direct projects funded by APNIC Foundation, such as ICIF Asia Fund, and also have APNIC Commit Deliver project, and also other project partners together. So here, first the funding from APIDT to APNIC Foundation, you can see from the left-hand side, APIDT annual allocate income will be 20.7 million, and including they will allocate of the funding to APNIC Foundation, 40.3 million to APNIC Foundation. So you can see from APNIC Foundation breakdown into different funding category, such as some small project in a foundation. This slide shows how APNIC Foundation goes to APNIC. For example, like APNIC Foundation, they are reserved 14.3 million funding to, and part of the funding, 4.2 million will goes to APNIC. And in the right-hand side, you can see APNIC break down the 4.2 million into different funding category. As I mentioned, there are different pillars, including some capacity building, APNIC Foundation, APNIC Academy, and en route deployment and research project as well. So that was pretty much my presentation. I'm happy to take questions during Q&A or during the open mic. Thank you for your question. If you need more information, you can go to apnic.net/transparency for detailed activity plan and also financial report. Thank you. Go back to you, Gara.
Thank you, Kenny. As usual, we'll be able to discuss this if there are any questions during the open mic. Next up is actually my presentation here on behalf of the APNIC EC.
We're sharing for you, Gaurav.
Oh, no, I got it. Yeah, I think let
Oh,
me
you
try
got it?
this. Let's try this. And then doesn't work, then we can save that.
All
Oh,
right.
you've already done it. So, okay. Start screen. Okay, share screen. Okay, Sonny, can you share your side?
Can
Thank
you
you.
see it, Gaurav?
Yep, thank you. Once again, this is the APNIC EC report. Next. These are the current EC members. We introduced them earlier today at the start of the session. I'll not go through this again, obviously. So, and we are all here. At the face-to-face meeting, we of course had meet the EC, but here, let's all meet virtually. The functions of the APNIC ECs are defined by our APNIC bylaws. The APNIC EC has a very dual functions. It represents the interest of members and the community in the governance of the APNIC. But at the same time, it also has oversight on APNIC, the Secretariat activities. It considers broad internet policy issues and gets feedback from our members, stakeholders, and the community for APNIC strategic direction. And the APNIC EC sets the fees for APNIC. And once the address policies have been agreed in the policy SIG and the members meeting, we endorse it towards successful implementation. Or we can send it back if we determine that it has a detrimental effect on APNIC. So that's always the key thing there to understand the EC role. It is both for the members and the community as well as the Secretariat. The APNIC EC usually meets 4 times a year. That was a pre-pandemic thing, and even during the pandemic, we kept to this cadence. The current EC held 5 EC meetings since the APNIC 51 AGM. The current EC meeting, that is the ongoing one, which is generally the 4 EC meetings held are 2 meetings are held during the APNIC meeting itself. That is during APRICOT and during our August-September meeting. And then 2 meetings are held in between. And obviously, with the virtual meetings, we don't need to do it exactly the same time. So we tend to meet a bit earlier. So the APNIC EC meeting held during APRICOT was last week, and it had been adjourned until the end of the day today. And we'll reconvene after the AGM is finished and close the meeting. All of our meeting minutes and records are available at the EC website, apnic.net/EC. You can go and find all of it. We have a goal of having it published within a month of each meeting, and we have kept to it. So this is the attendance records look like. Virtual, but everybody's been there. And as I said earlier, for this year, the big planning or from a EC perspective, the APNIC survey is a critical item because that is how the EC interacts with not just members, but with the broader community. This is every 2 years. It is actually independent and anonymous. We contract it out to a company that does surveys as their main business. They've worked with us for a couple of years now, and we've been very happy, and we are going to re-engage them. And they've also helped us benchmark our surveys, and improve on how to do data quality and how to make sure that the data integrity is maintained. Part of that survey, we gather feedback from members and community. This year, again, we are going to use the same two formats. In the pre-COVID times, we conducted on-site workshops in a few select locations, like a focus group meeting. But with the pandemic, we are going to continue using online interviews and surveys. And obviously, instead of focusing on conducting the entire activity in the middle of the year, we are commencing the process much earlier. And we have opened up slots for APRICOT attendees to basically say, hey, I volunteer for the survey, APNIC survey to be interviewed. The full survey will be launched in May, June. And obviously, the survey report will be presented to the members at APNIC 54. And the results from the survey will be used for the planning of future activity in December. The other activity, as I said, the EC endorses policies. We received 5 policies for endorsement, and we endorsed all of them. There were no issues there that we saw. And these were reached consensus last year during the 2 meetings. Prop 133, 135, 136, 139, and 140. I'd like to thank not just our 6 years, but also all of those who participate in the policy process to keep it active and, keep it alive, even in these difficult times. Kenny just gave a very detailed financial report, so I'll just repeat the same thing here in a single page. Membership growth is in line with budget assumptions. At the end of last year, we had 8,768 members. We had an operating surplus exceeded budget by 2.1 million. A lot of that was because there was no travel, and we could not, also sponsor NOGs, and a lot of other activities that we participate in were curtailed. Even the organizing of the APRICOT, a lot of the actual event expenses have been curtailed. So part of my report is I'm going to call for the AGM to approve the audited financial statement that Kenny presented earlier, and also approve the activity plan that was presented by Paul and the budget that was presented by Kenny. Part of this. In face-to-face meetings, we would do this as applause. So I guess we can try the same thing here. Or if anybody has a comment on it, let's discuss it during the open mic. The other decision we made in December was to reappoint Nicole Chan to the NRO Number Council, ASO Address Council, for a 1-year term that started at the beginning of the year and ends in the end of the year. We continue to have Subham and Dima as the 2 elected community members on the ASO. And on the EC side, we also constituted 2 subcommittees. We had a dormant property subcommittee because obviously we are not going around buying property all the time. But as Paul said earlier, about 2 years ago, we had determined that we are going to outgrow the space that we are currently in because of the additional foundation staff plus other activities related with the foundation. And of course, what had also happened was the area around the current APNIC offices have become, I don't know what to call it, but a lot of high-rise apartment buildings, which I think an office right middle of that probably was not going to be convenient. So we're looking for a bigger space, allowing for more things to do. So we reconstitute this property subcommittee. with me and Kenny and Nathan from the Secretariat as the member, and evaluated it. We also designated a standing remuneration subcommittee of the EC that is responsible for evaluating remunerations for the DG. And the members are, again, the chairman. This is going to be a standing committee of the chairman, the treasurer, and one member of the EC. The next big news, we are at APNIC 53. We've been discussing quite extensively about APNIC 54. There is optimism, I would say, that we may be able to do at least some face-to-face component in September 2022. We're looking at various locations. We have not determined because the situation is very fluid. We also want to make sure that we don't select a location and then have to back off, or, but what we're looking at is to do this as a fully hybrid event, so that the face-to-face component is just a part of us trying to see how that works. As I have said multiple times this week, we don't see us being fully on-site or fully virtual in future. It's always going to be, virtual is going to be a big component of all of our future meetings. So in that process, we're looking at locations, regulations, and ease of travel. And just to make sure that we don't break our rotation system with APRICOT, where we follow the region, this is going to be out of that rotation. We are not going to, break that, which means that if APRICOT decides to be face-to-face next year, then it's still going to be in Manila, and that is not going to change. So we'll see. We will be making some announcements in a couple of weeks on this. So please do keep an eye out. And if you have any feedback, please do provide it to the EC and to the comp staff, APNIC, directly. Obviously, I've talked about the annual report. I think we are all very proud of the annual report that went out. The annual report is available on APNIC website. We welcome all feedback. There are multiple ways to contact the EC. If you have a My APNIC account, then you can do an EC submission via My APNIC. There is a contact form on the APNIC website that gets directed to the EC. Or obviously, during APNIC conferences, you can access on the chat on the side. If you really have a direct question on the Zoom chat, you can ask it. And obviously, the website will provide you tons of information about the EC. Lastly, thank you very much to all the members for your continued support, and not just the members, but also the wider community of folks that make this successful organization. I think at the end of this, I'm going to open this for open mic, so we can have some Q&A, and please feel free to ask questions about any of the three presentations today, and then we'll still have a short. Oh wow, we still have 2 more presentations to do. So let's make this a short update or open mic. And as we said earlier, you can have the open mic. You can type your questions in the chat or raise your hand, and we can, the host will enable you to speak.
Gaurav, we have Amrita in
Yep.
just allowing her to speak now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Amrita.
Thank you, Gaurav, and thank you to the EC. And the presentations were very informative. And apologies in advance if I'm supposed to, ask this question or not at this point. But looking at some of the mails which were flowing in the mailing list, And looking at the website, this came to my mind, and if the community also thinks that, is there a need for APNIC to actually review who all can apply for the EC positions, as in should there be some criteria which should be there, because at the website it was quite open. I'm not sure if there are any particular points anywhere. Perhaps it may not have been required earlier, but with changing times, does the community feel that there should be certain criteria, for example, involvement in the community, or have some contribution somewhere, so that the people who can contribute more can come, or even if they've not been in the ethnic community, but bring in some external views would be welcomed. And perhaps, we would have more gender balance, which I know everyone tries to bring, but there is none at this point of time. So thank you.
Amrita, thank you so much. That is, I think, a pretty relevant question. And I think the EC elections are determined by the bylaws. And I think they were, maybe it's time to revise some of it, or maybe there is a way to add some procedural improvement into the process, because we don't have to do everything the same way that was done, when APNIC was founded. I was actually going to ask Craig, our general counsel, to speak on this topic because he's done some work to look at options, and maybe he has some ideas. Craig? Sonny, can we have Craig's microphone?
Yeah, he's.
Hi, Amrita, thank you for the question. We are looking at this, and we've been constantly reviewing best governance practices for the appointment of the EC. The APNIC's bylaws are generally quite broad, but APNIC is an Australian incorporated company, and there are regulations and laws in Australia about who qualifies, pardon me, about who qualifies to be an officer or a director of a corporation. So I am working with the EC in terms of improving the processes. And also, I think, as I see, Bertrand has mentioned NomCom, and there's a couple of suggestions about NomCom. So we are currently looking at various options about incorporating a NomCom process. In ARIN, for example, a NomCom adds to the slate of candidates, but cannot and does not actually eliminate or cancels someone's nomination. So we are looking at that in terms of best governance practices. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Craig. I think we can take this separately, but I think there is enough interest in this that if folks want to be a part of this discussion, then please just drop a note in the chat room, and maybe we can have a separate discussion follow up later on this topic, because that is something, as I said, we don't have to be static and stagnant. Like in the last 2 years or in the last few years, we've gone from physical voting to completely online voting. Similarly, we've improved or changed the requirement, the instituted requirement for our community elections. So I think that is a good step to go towards to review and look more. Thank you, Amrita, for raising that. There is another open mic next session, so I'm going to stop the open mic right now, because there is 1 minute for Paul and Sonny to make a presentation there. So I would actually, before I invite Paul to present about the APIDT, I think we realized that last year when we presented the APIDT, we made it part of our Secretariat report, and it was not clear. APIDT is a separate organization. although one in which APNIC shares the control of the organization with WIDE. And so, but it is a big part of what we do. Like APIDT is pretty much buying the new location for APNIC, and we are going to use it perpetually. And thanks to Murai-san, Jun Murai, for that generous work in supporting APNIC. So going forward, every AMM, we are going to present a short report on APIDT. Paul is going to do the honors this time, but in future we may have someone from APIDT do that directly. Paul?
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Gaurav. Coming up. I trust this can be seen and I can be heard. So a brief update on APIDT. You may, those who have been with us at the last meeting may remember this this diagram, which is sort of explanatory of the structure that we're talking about here, in that the APIDT, Asia Pacific Internet Development Trust, is formally established as a trust. It's got a governing deed of trust, which states what the trust is established to do, which is for development of the internet, and in particular professional development and capacity building for internet in the Asia Pacific. The guardians and members of the trust are WIDE and APNIC equally. So we are collectively, we own or control or have responsibility for the trust to make sure the trust does what it's established to do. Its funding at the moment is split between two different causes or two different channels. One is ARENA-PAC, which is the Arterial Research and Education Network for Asia Pacific, which I'll talk about, and the second is APNIC Foundation. And it's worth understanding that the APNIC Foundation is also for practical development of internet industry and internet benefits in the Asia Pacific, and it has projects which are independent from APNIC and projects which are implemented by APNIC. And so some of the funding that the resources that come through the trust actually do end up bolstering APNIC's development program. And I've already mentioned in the last report that in the 2022 calendar year, we'll have about $6 million in contribution to APNIC development activities which come from this source, although the APNIC Foundation budget is considerably higher than that because it supports other projects as well. So operationally, the APIDT has been involved with finalising the investment process from the funds that were raised. So the last tranche of the IPv4 address space was completed in October 2021, providing a total proceeds from that sale of addresses of $434 million US. Now that's in the hands of what's called the Investment Advisory Committee, which I'll talk about to work out how and where that should be, that fund should be invested for the best return. But the idea is that it exists as a perpetual fund to create an income stream that will go to those funding destinations or activities that I've mentioned, which are at this stage ARENA-PAC and the APNIC Foundation. And so I'll talk about that, ARENA-PAC, APNIC Foundation, and the third part of the funding from APIDT is towards a property which is APNIC's new home. And I've got a few details here about the finances as well, but it's worth noting that there is an annual audit, as APNIC itself does. There's an annual audit of the trust's finances conducted by KPMG formally. There's also ongoing financial services, including statutory reporting and reporting for the Australian Charities Commission, by Ernst & Young separately. So those two, the big accounting firms are making sure that that everything is undertaken transparently and in accord with the trust deed and with the regulations and normal governance requirements. The Investment Advisory Council comprises at the moment, as chair, Oki Matsumoto from Monex Group in Japan, and he's had a very long history of experience with funding and investment activities. He is the chair of the Finance Committee for Human Rights Watch at the moment. Andrew Page is an Australian, a senior private banker with Westpac, but both of them with a great deal of experience in the kind of financial investments that we're talking about here. Richard Brown has been employed as the CFO of the trust. He is the one staff member of the trust at the moment. So he and Jun and myself sit as more or less ex officio members on this Investment Advisory Council, but with the external independent advice coming primarily from the two individuals I mentioned. Their activities during this year have been to help us to establish a yield investment portfolio, which is similar to the APNIC investment fund, which APNIC has been running for many years now, quite successfully, for the initial investment of the fund, and that's being done with Credit Suisse. And we're working with Credit Suisse to finalise the investment policy statement, which is a transparent public statement of where the investment, what the investment policy of the trust is. So since April, the bulk of the funds have been transferred into that investment fund with a value at the end of 2021 of $405.9 million US. And that IAC, the Investment Advisory Committee, meets quarterly. There's a statement here of the performance of the fund since it was established in April of 2021, with a cumulative gain of 2.7% to the end of December 2021. The chart at the bottom shows that this has been a particularly volatile year in investment returns. So while the first 4 months were positive, the fifth month was substantially negative. The next month was substantially positive. It's gone up and down, as you may be aware, in the current investment climate, and that seems unlikely to change. But I think the point of this particular type of fund is that it's the volatility is a lot less than the volatility of many other investment and financial instruments that are out there and fluctuating wildly at the moment in the current climate. Just a few words on the projects. ArenaPac, the Arterial Research and Education Network for the Asia Pacific. That's an effort here to establish a number of cable circuits through IRUs with cable operators that are at the moment centered on the Internet Exchange at Guam to provide connectivity between academic networks, primarily in Southeast Asia. There's an IRU that's established between Guam and Tokyo, a share in an IRU that's been established by ArenaPac, ARNet, Internet 2, and the National Singapore NREN, sorry, between Guam and Singapore. There's discussions underway at the moment for 2 IRUs between Manila and Guam, and Mulang in Indonesia and Guam. And the coloured circuits here are the ones that are ArenaPac circuits, and the others are sort of relevant other interconnections, which I think should be relevant in a second. Again, the links that are established at the moment have been completed Tokyo, Guam, and Guam, Singapore, with Guam, Indonesia, and Philippines coming up this year. And there's equipment being sourced for presence in Guam, Philippines, and Indonesia as needed. Orders were delayed, finalized last year, but delivery delayed until this year due to various equipment delivery constraints. Now, the IRUs are totaled here in terms of the total, totaled up the upfront and ongoing fees. The expenditure in 2021 was less than budgeted for a total of 1.7 million, but the budget for 2022 includes additional IRUs, additional equipment for a budget of $6.8 million US, that is. So that's the funding for ARENA-PAC. Another point to note is that ARENA-PAC is now a signatory of something called APONet, which is the Asia-Pacific Oceania network for academic and research networks, with partners that are illustrated here, a whole lot of partners across Asia, Pacific, and the US, North America. And so there'll be the sharing of capacity between ARENA-PAC and those other networks, which again is in the strongly in the interests of those who are being served by ARENA-PAC, being the East Asian academic and research network community. So the second part of the funding from the trust is going to the APNIC Foundation. And we all know, I think, the APNIC Foundation's record so far. It's been increasing and scoring more runs on the board in the years since the foundation was started. But it's taken a big leap in 2021 with additional funding from the trust. There was an initial budget of $9 million US, which was only achieved to the extent of $6.6 million US for the total grant expenditure to the foundation in 2021. It's a more ambitious program for the foundation in 2022, with $14 million US going to the plan to go to the foundation from the trust in 2022 in a couple of tranches. There's the 60% that's to be paid sort of early in the year, and then the balance based on the interim report that will happen later in the year. So the accounting for that, for these grants in 2021 and 2022 are shown here. This is a combined for both years, so that you can see that, for instance, the ISEF Asia program in 2021 received $2.1 million, and it's budgeted for $2.7 million in 2022. And there's a number of new projects in 2022 which are bringing the total up to a total of $14 million US for the foundation. Now, as I mentioned, APNIC is involved with implementing a number of these projects under the APNIC activity plan for 2022, and you can find those linked in that last, well, basically the last slide of the previous presentation that I presented this morning. APNIC's new home, the trust has purchased property for the APNIC family, let's say, the APNIC Foundation, the APNIC Secretariat, and the trust itself. And that's a property in Brisbane on a largish site, quite close to the centre of the city, but not right in the middle of the city. That has actually been contracted already. The settlement for purchase happens at the end of March, and the current tenants stay there for the remainder of this year while the trust plans for the redevelopment of the site with a target for 2024. And this will be a site with a sort of master plan for an initial building and the possibility of future expansion, just depending on how the foundation and APNIC were to grow in future. It's rather, I guess, hard to predict where and how far the development of the site would need to go, but it is a long-term plan for multiple decades in terms of APNIC's future. There are full financial statements of the trust showing. I won't go into detail here, but we've got the budget and the actuals for 2021 in terms of the trust itself and its operational expenses and its budget for 2022. The balance sheet as well for the end December 2021, showing the total funding, the total funds available in the trust, the value of those assets at $436 million. And so I would be happy to take some questions on that if there are any. Thanks.
Yeah, I think we'll not do the open mic right now. We'll probably have to compress the next AGM session a bit more to gain some time on the open mic. Thank you, Paul. And it's good. We are already way behind. So Sunny, if you can quickly do it, the reminder for elections, we would break.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. So the APNIC EC elections, APNIC member and proxy online voting will be closing in around 30 minutes and 12 seconds from now. So we'll go for a 30-minute break, Gaurav?
Yeah, so we are going to have a 30-minute break. We can't extend this too long because there's still the APRICOT closing plenary after the MM is over. So we'll come back on the top of the hour here in 30 minutes after the break. You can leave your Zoom session on and go, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you. And it's the same link, please. So stay in the same room.
Just take a quick snap. There you go.
Archie, you want to take a group selfie?
Yeah, if possible.
Before we start, because after that, I don't think we'll have much time to do it.
Correct.
So if all the EC members are on, you can try to take a group selfie.
Yep. Waiting for phone. And smile now. 1, 2, smile. Yeah, I'll take a couple of more. Waiting for Peng. You can take random shots now, actually. One more. Do my thumbs up already. Wait. Didn't get that. Oh, one more, guys. One. Hey. Oh, there's Peng. One more, last. 1, 2. And importantly, for backup, you understand. Yep. Let's do it. Another one. Hold on. Wait. Something went wrong. There you go. One more. 1, 2. Okay, I think we're good.
We can get started now again. Sunny, ready to go?
We still have around 21 seconds for the close of the online voting. So I'm just waiting for that to stop. 10 seconds left, and then I'll make the announcement, if that's okay with you, Gaurav.
Yeah, sure. Is Bertrand around, ready to start with the policy report?
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is just an announcement. The APNIC member and proxy online voting closed now. And we will be in AGM 3, handing over to the chair, Gaurav Upadhyaya.
Thank you, Sunny. We are resuming the AMM, or the general meeting. And in this section, we have a bunch of reports. And as I said earlier, we have a tight schedule because we still have the APRICOT closing ceremony. So without losing time, I'm going to ask Bertrand, our policy SIG chair, to come and give a report on the policy SIG.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Bertrand.
Okay, so here is the open policy meeting report with me acting as chair and my two co-chairs, Jing-Han Ku and Sheila Chamin. The policy SIG charter is to develop policies which relate to the management and use of internet member resources within the APAC region. These include policies for resource allocation, recovery, transfer, registration within WHOIS, reverse DNS, APICOT, and all the related services. The key highlights of our two sessions, we had the policy implementation report by Sunny. AFTAB did a readout of Prop 141 to be presented at the next meeting. Jove had a presentation on what happened with the addresses in 2021, and Sunny had a policy proposal impact analysis to present us as well. We had three proposals during open meeting 2, and here are the proposals. Prop 142, Unified Transfer Policy Text. This proposal is suggesting combining the individual resources type and transfer policies under one single part. It's just amending the text, really. This prop did reach consensus during the OPM. Gaurav, do you want to call for consensus on this proposal?
Yes. Sunny, are we ready with the poll?
Yes, I am ready.
So, okay, so for the members who are not familiar, after the policies are reached consensus in the policy SIG, we bring it to the AMM for validation and consensus again. So part of that process, I'm going to call for consensus on this particular proposal. We will use the Zoom poll for this. We will not go between Confer and this, Confer and Zoom polls. So, and when I call for consensus, Sunny is going to bring up the Zoom poll, and please indicate your support or disapproval for this on the poll. So I'm calling for consensus on Prop 142, unified transfer policies text. This proposal is suggesting a combination of individual resource type V4V6 transfer policy under a new part 5. Actually, I'll not continue to read this. Sonny, can we do the call for consensus poll?
Yeah, it should pop up now. Let me know when to close, Gaurav.
Okay, I think we are done. Looks like we have some neutral, one opposition, but we still have fairly good support for this. So I call out that we have reached consensus on this proposal. What's on next one?
Oops, sorry. Next one is Prop 143, ASN to customer. The objective is Section 12.4 of APNIC Internet Member Resources Policies allows an RR to request an ASN from APNIC for its customers. However, the policy is not clear on the terms of this request. This proposal suggests recognizing a new use case for resident transfer received through OIR requests and include the suggested additional term in the policy document. Again, it's a policy that amends the actual document and does not really modify it. This proposal reached consensus at the OPM.
Okay, so we called for the AMM consensus on this particular proposal, Prop 143. Basically, the ASN to customers. This policy also seems to be more clarification and creating some clarity in our policies. So we call for poll, Sunny.
Yep, coming up. Can you see it?
Yep. Okay, looks like we have a pretty decent support for this. No opposition noted. So Prop 143 is noted as gaining consensus in the AMM. Bertrand, next one.
Yes, Prop 144, Reserve Pool under Experimental Allocation Policy. In line with the spirit of experimental RFCs being developed at the IETF, this proposal suggests providing reasonable assurance to the community on the continued availability of IPv4 addresses for experimental allocation requests by reserving a /21 IPv4 address block for the next 5 years from date of this proposal's implementation. This reservation will expire 5 years after the date of the proposal's implementation. This prop did reach consensus at the open policy meeting.
Cool. Thank you, Bertrand. Again, same as usual, we're going to call for AMM consensus on Prop 144, the reserve pool under experimental allocation policy. This is basically reserving a /21 for 5 years so that we can have IPv4 for experimental use.
Why it's stopping so soon?
Someone is clicking on the button.
Yeah.
Do you want to rerun this, Sunny, if we are closing?
Yes, I'm doing that rerun. I hope there's no automatic timer on that one. No, it's not.
Okay, I think now we can end poll. It's been pretty stable. I still see there is a pretty good consensus support for this. There is noted that there is 2 opposition there. If someone has strong opposition on this, then they should speak up. Otherwise, I'll note that we've reached consensus on this as well. And by the way, reaching consensus here is not the final step. This proposals will go back to the mailing list. And if you still have strong oppositions or have questions on this, any of these policies, you can still raise them on the mailing list. And the chair will consider that as part of the process before he recommends it to us. So there is a what we can call it a final call before the EC endorses it for implementation. So for the few that add opposition to it, please go ahead and do that. Thank you so much, Bertrand. Do you have more slides?
Yeah, it's done for me. Thank you very much. And
thank
you to my
Bertrand,
co-chairs.
and as usual, thank you to Bertrand and his co-chairs for doing the policy SIG. It's an important function for APNIC. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we're going to the next presentation here, which is from the Sunny, we have it lined up. We have the Joy Chan reporting on the cooperation SIG.
Okay, thank you very much, Gaurav. And this is Joy Chen on behalf of Cooperation SIG, along with my wonderful co-chair, Bikram. And the Cooperation SIG is really, let me share my screen. It's a forum to discuss about the internet topics. I want to make sure I have the screen that's shared. Give me a second. Okay, so the broader internet topic is like public policy, internet governance, that's interest to our APNIC community interest. So this time that we are looking at the thing and the highlights from the internet successful factors. And we're looking through the 3 different initiatives. The one is on the ISOC Internet Way of Networking, the new IP, and the DNS for EU. So the 4 successful factors that we are looking, the first one was the scalabilities. We recognize the openness and the layering of the networking. That's really the design, the beauty design principle that successfully gave the scale and absorbed the exponential growth to users and the usage. The flexibility, that we know the internet has runs over a variety of underlying network technologies. It's flexible to accommodate the new networking technology, and we look at the adaptability, which we know the internet keeps adopting the new application and the new use cases. Last but not the least was the resilience. We see that how the resilience has been proven, and with the changes in the traffic and user patterns, we also have the experience sharing for the DNS for EU. And a little bit on the future outlook that we know the internet has continued and evolving successfully. There are the technical challenges that facing, including the security in the architecture on the application side with the cybersecurities. And we also recognize the government and the large internet companies are playing a much more important role, such as the content provider is increasing their role by the physical network and the protocol developments. And with that, thank you very much for the Cooperation SIG report.
Thank you, Joy and Bikram. As usual, Cooperation SIG is very important. We've kind of grown quite a bit on this space. Obviously, not having it face-to-face has its drawback. I think probably the biggest drawback is for the Cooperation SIG, but thank you for putting this together. It's always good to see the progress there. Now, Sunny, we are going to the next one. The next presentation will be from the NIR SIG from Onanugan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, God. May I share screen?
Yes, please do.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. The NIR6 has I'm Huang and the chef NIR6 and the co-chair the Genju. And on behalf of the chairs, I would like to update for the report of the NIR6. As you know, the charter of the NIR6 is to share information relating to the operation, policy, and procedure of National Internet Registry, with the aim of promoting close cooperation both among the NIR and with the APNIC. In this meeting, we have 6 presentations from 6 NIRs. Some highlight from CNIC, he update about the IPv6 APRICOT training and the good number of IPv6 users in China. From APNIC, it's a good information for the NIR system like APKI, Kadabara, and NIR API test as well. From VNIC, she update about the status of IPv6. I think it's a good point, and we need to keep focus on IPv6 for group. And in this year, they will have the VNIC Internet Conference meeting. Yeah, from the APNIC, there are 6 highlight event in last year, especially domestic idea, Internet Week, VNIC, the APNIC meeting, and OPM as well. From Taiwan is the main key point in the Taiwan is a good number from IPv6 deployment and APRICOT validator. Yeah, from Irene, yeah, its APRICOT project is a good active for promote IPv6 deployment in India, and also they have an activity for training course focused on APRICOT, IPv6, and security and DNS. As you know, yeah, besides the NR6 forum, we will have the survey, and after the survey, we look forward to have a new meeting in June this year among NARs and APNIC, and also in the next forum. Next forum, we will have a focus. We'll have a new meeting. Yeah, new presentation. Is that all? Thank you.
Thank you, Nguyen, for the NIRC presentation. As always, thank you to you and your co-chairs. Very important NIRs from a very important part of the APNIC community. And we hope to continue seeing you here. Sunny, next one we have is the routing security SIG report from Aftab.
Yeah, he's online.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick confirmation, you can see everything?
Yes, Aftab.
All right, so we had a routing security SIG session yesterday. Thanks to my co-chair, Dr. Dima and Afifa Abbas for helping me out. This is a long charter, so I'm not going to read it. Right, so we had it yesterday, so it was, of course, a Zoom format. I hope in the near future we could have something in a hybrid. Last time I checked, there was like 80 attendees at one point, but probably once we get the report that how many people showed up, then we will share it on the mailing list. We had 4 presentations. First one from Dr. Pei Zhang from the Beijing University, Terence Switzer, an independent researcher, Mr. Xikong Zhang, and from NNIX, who also presented a very interesting algorithm to catch or identify route hijacks and route leaks, which he's still working on and probably make it publicly available. So we're looking forward to it. And then there was a presentation from Tom Harrison for related to the APNIC registry services and what are the changes coming in terms of new features. So that was a quick introduction of who presented what. A detailed report on these presentations will be presented as a summary on the mailing list. So if you are not registered or not subscribed to the mailing list, please do so. Right at the end, there was an open discussion session. In the last meeting, we ran a survey and asked a couple of questions about what features should be into the what feature we should have it in the registry services. So on that note, there was one very important point that there should be a ROA notification service, because right now you have a route object notification, but you do not get any notification on the basis of when you create a ROA. There was an overwhelming support that it should be opt-in rather than by default, and then you have to opt out. I mean, in the who is or route object notification, there is no opt out at all. So we wanted to have an opt-in role notification. It has been conveyed to APNIC Secretariat and the services team, and they would look into this one. And right at the end, there was a discussion that how community or the members can submit feature requests. And then everybody can just look at it and they can either upvote or downvote any feature and say, okay, fine, this is really very good idea. We can have it, or no, it doesn't make any sense, or something like this. And then we can bring it on the discussion panel as well. So APNIC also said that we will look into this and find out what is the best possible way. Another point was raised by D that moving into the delegated CA, we don't actually have any compliance or checklist where they have to follow something. It is in the RFC on the standards. So maybe there is something which everybody should follow. Again, it goes back to the Secretariat and the services team to work on the checklist of some kind. So these are some of the open actions or open discussion point as well. Next meeting, we did something similar last year. We arranged the help of APNIC Secretariat, we arranged a standalone meeting for the Routing Security 6. We will do this again around April, end of April. We haven't decided the date yet, but we will soon and let everybody know. So please join the session. Otherwise, we will see you next time in the APNIC 54. Thank you so much, Chair. Any questions from anyone?
Thank you, Aftab. We'll take questions at the end as part of the open mic. So please, all the 6 chairs, stay around. And then thank you, Aftab, and the co-chairs of the Routing Security SIG, one of our newest SIG. Good to see so much successful work being done there. Now we have Toyama-san, Katsuyasu Toyama, presenting the APIX report.
Yep. Thank you, Gaurav. So may I take a screen? I'm very sorry, but I didn't submit my slides before. Yep. Everyone can see the slide?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll briefly update about the APIX. Okay, so always thank you very much for APNIC supporting our activities. And this time also APNIC provided us with Zoom. Thank you very much. Okay, so this time we have a half-day meeting. We have 3 sessions on the Monday. And this time, so 49 people from 727 member ISPs attended. And of course, APNIC Foundation, NISOC, HIX, that kind of non-members also attended. Thank you very much for attending. And this time we have these kind of sessions. Yep. So I'll briefly update about the APIX. That last year, especially from the last APNIC meeting and APIX meeting, we have got 3 new IXPs joined. So BIX from Indonesia, and GetFix from Philippines, and NNIX from China. So currently we have 36 IXP members from 18 countries and economies. Yeah, this is a list of the 36 members. And this time, the steering committee election has been done. So the 2021, these 5 members are managed the APIX, and me and Walt expired the term of office. And this time, this time our election committee that always supported from APNIC and volunteer from APNIC, Chihu Kenrick-san, the volunteer to the election. And this time, finally, me and Arnold Nipper from DKIX, India, elected as a steering committee members. So from now, in the 2022, these 5 members will operate the APIX. And the steering committee activities this year, this one is in the first half, and mainly we have 6 steering committee meetings before the this time APIX meeting. Okay, and this period, in this period, the important achievement is described here. So as I mentioned, the 3 new members joined, and also we signed MOU with an APNIC Foundation and ISOC about an IXP development support in APAC regions. So far, the APNIC and ISOC doing the IXP development support independently, but now we are making a team and support strongly the IXP development in APAC region. So thank you very much, APNIC and APNIC Foundation and ISOC. And also we have had a grant agreement with ISOC. ISOC will support to establish the APIX legal entity. So we will try hard to make an APIX to a legal entity. And also another important achievement in this period is in the benchmarking. As you may know, the benchmarking is for comparing to IXP's activities each other and improve their own IXP operation or services to much better. So at the last APIX meeting, George Michelson of the APNIC proposed and support the activities, and we made an ad hoc group in the APIX. So, and Mike and Mohan and me joined and making the survey to compare with each internet exchanges operations, and also each country's policy. Such kind of things, information will be collected from now, and we would like to compare with them. Okay, and this one is also thank you very much for APNIC to support, and yeah, the SurveyMonkey fee will be supported by APNIC. Okay, so from now, outstanding issues is described here. So benchmarking and supporting the IXP development, establishing a legal entity. These are the outstanding issues. So we are trying to make it happen. And also we try to increase and promote more IXPs to join the APIX. Okay, and also I would like to briefly point out that Peering Asia. You know, the Peering Asia is an open and neutral peering forum in APAC region, and we have had the online Peering Asia last November. And that at the time that we had a conference, and we have the attendees 229, and of course we had an online social party, but not so many attended, only the 20 or 30, but we had a good time. Okay, and this is in the program of the Peering Asia 2021 V. And the survey results showed that a very good reputation. So 66 responses from 229 attendees, and almost 100 people says an excellent or good. So also that their future attendance is 28.5%. So this event is very welcome for the peering managers in the APAC region and globally. And this is a good news for us to continue this event. Okay, so we will have the Peering Asia 4.0 this November, and this one has been postponed twice since 2020. Yeah, but then the place will be the Bangkok, Thailand, and host Thailand IX and BBIX. So we are hoping to have it in person. Okay, and next APX meeting will be held maybe a Sunday or Monday, and along with an APNIC 54. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. So this is a brief report from APIX. Thank you.
Thank you, Toyama-san. As usual, APNIC is very happy to support APIX.
Yep, thank you very much.
Always. A wonderful APIX team. Unfortunately, I haven't personally been able to join, but I think you guys are doing great.
Yeah, you are busy.
Thank you to you and all the others who put the APIX together. And I think I can say on behalf of the EC that we will be very glad to continue supporting APIX well into the future on whatever you may need. Thank you to Amazon. Okay, so we are on schedule, actually a few minutes ahead, but I just have been told that the Big Pulse election voting results are ready to be shared. Can I get confirmation of that, Sonny or Craig?
Craig is online.
Yes, we are ready to announce, and the election chair DY is online waiting to announce the results.
Yep. So DY, if you could come out and announce it once again. Thank you so much for running this process.
You're welcome. So I'm happy to say the election results are here with me. I'm happy to say that there have been no disputes brought on. I've also been advised by the scrutineers, Smahena Amakran from RIPE NCC and Sabe Vochea from ICANN, that they witnessed the vote downloading process and there were no issues or anomalies to report. Everything went well. So I'm going to announce the results and the corresponding votes in the order of the number of votes received for each nominees. So from the top, so Subang Ahmed Sabir, 4,084 votes. Cam Ze Young, 3,238 votes. Aki Atienza, 3,057 votes. Lu Heng, 1,432 votes. Gaurav Kansal, 1,178 votes. Latiful Kabir, 500 votes. Joe Wooler, 410 votes. Rob Thomas, 279 votes. Rafi Jamizada, 186 votes. Jonathan Gleason, 179 votes. C.B. Woodhouse, 86 votes. Ana Victoria Lopez Mascardo, 50 votes. So that the total number of votes were 14,679 votes. So that with that, the following three nominees have been successfully elected into the APNIC Executive Council, who are Suman Ahmed Sabir, Cam Se Young, and Aki Atienza. So congratulations on the three nominees selected. So thank you very much. So I will pass the microphone back to the APNIC Chair, Gaurav. Thank you.
Thank you, DY. It is actually good to see you here for a long time. Hopefully you come to the next APRICOT when we have in person.
Yeah, thank you.
I think we haven't seen you for a long time. And thank you for the long support for the internet community in the region. And thank you for doing a very important role today as the election chair and making sure that we continue to uphold the standards. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I'd also like to congratulate the three candidates, Sumon Sabir, Kam Ji-young, and Vincent Chia Tinja for their successful election. And also would like to thank the other candidates. And I'm going to try to read all of their names here. Mr. Lu Hang, Mr. Gaurav Kansal, Mr. Kabir, Joe Uller, Rob Thomas, Rafi, Mr. Glisson, CB Roadhouse, and Ms. Moscardo for participating in the process. I think this is the largest slate of candidate we've seen in a long time. And so this keeps me excited that, we don't have a shortage of community members that are willing to step up to be in the EC. So thank you to all the candidates as well for being part of this process. And congratulations to the three re-elected EC members. Thank you so much. Now that we have the election part over, I would like to have an open mic. We had to cut short the open mic from the previous session. And so we can have a slightly longer open mic to cover any issues or any questions people may have. We'll follow the same process. Please write your questions in the chat room or raise your hand via Zoom. And we will basically either open the mic or answer your questions here. Thank you. Well, generally, if I had no questions, I would sort of joke about going for an early coffee break.
We got one from Anupam.
Oh, we have a question. One raised hand from Anupam. Thank you.
You may speak, Anupam.
Yeah, thank you.
Anupam, you may speak.
So thank you, Gaurav, and congratulations to all the newly elected EC members. My question is just a clarificatory question based on the response of the General Counsel. So my question is the APNIC EC and the APNIC Pty Limited board the same thing, or are these two different things?
Anupam, it's a different thing. APNIC Pty Ltd is the secretariat. Under the bylaws, the APNIC Pty Ltd can create a subcommittee, and it's a long story, but a subcommittee called APNIC was created back in, I can't tell you the year, but many years ago under the provisions of the Articles of Association of APNIC Pty Ltd, and therefore under the bylaws was created as the subcommittee. Does that answer your question?
That's very helpful. Can I just ask another one?
Sure.
So this clarifies the organization structure. So now for implement, when you said that corporate governance best practices from Australia needs to be implemented, it flows down to the APNIC committee as well. Is that what you were suggesting?
So it flows down to the Executive Council because the APNIC Executive Council performs the role equal to a director under the Australian law, under the Corporations Act. And therefore, the APNIC Executive Council members are subject to the rules and regulations concerning duties of directors. And that's how that flows down.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Anupam. Thank you, Craig. Any other quizzes? Or open mic is for anything that you may have questions about. Looks like everybody is eager to go on a break. If that is the case, after I was saying coffee, tea, I don't think I want coffee, tea right now. But I would move on to the next part here with Paul giving the vote of thanks. Paul.
Oh, of course, ready to go. So the APRICOT conference is not over yet, but this is the last session of APNIC 53 as such. So we normally like to thank all of the people who contributed to APNIC 53, including the APNIC SIGs and the AMM, the AGM that's just coming to a close now. And so we do have a collection of sponsors for today. And I want to thank all of them: CNNIC, JPNIC, KISA, TWNIC, and VNNIC for the support given to this meeting, to the APNIC AGM for APNIC 53. Thank you all very much for coming back and supporting the event. There are a lot of volunteers as well. The Policy SIG chair and co-chairs, Bertrand, Qingheng, and Shayla. The NIR SIG chairs are Juan and Sen. The Corporation SIG, Joy and Bikram, and the newest SIG, the Routing Security SIG, chairs Aftab, Dimar, and Afifa. Thank you to you all for the work that you've done. There's quite a bit of preparation that goes into the SIGs, and a few sessions have happened in the meantime since the last meeting, and your efforts are really appreciated to help to bring the community together under the SIGs and to produce the results that we have. Thank you, DY, for helping us as our election chair this year. To the scrutineers, to Smahina from RIPE NCC and to Save from ICANN, both contributing to the success of the election. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of the election nominees and the participants who voted. Congratulations to the re-elected EC members as well. Really, to all the speakers, those who helped with moderation and other duties in the program for APNIC 53 this week, thank you very much for your contributions. Very much from me personally, thank you to the APNIC EC, to the staff, to RIR colleagues and guests who came, and to everyone who attended APNIC 53 as part of APRICOT 2022 this year. Thank you very much. It's always interesting coming to the end of a meeting, a long meeting of online sessions. It takes a special amount of dedication and attention to stay with it. But we've had constant participation, a good 100 people online for most of this meeting today, plus the others who are attending other APRICOT sessions. Thank you all sincerely, and I really do hope to see some, at least, face-to-face at the next opportunity, which hopefully will be APNIC 54, but we'll see about that, and please stay tuned for announcements. I want to give a bit of a reminder in preparation for APNIC 54, because whether we do hold face-to-face or not, there'll be the same long program for fellows leading up to 54. There'll be a schedule of presentations for fellows, APNIC Academy courses, certificates at the end. The idea is to meet with mentors, to meet with new friends, and to develop yourself professionally, and also, we hope, your position in the APNIC community. So please, if you're interested in applying for a fellowship for APNIC 54, then the applications are coming up, closing on the 25th of March, and the URL is there for those who are interested. Please apply, and I wish you all the best of luck in doing so. Stay in touch with APNIC via blog.apnic.net and apnic.net/social. We'll see you at APNIC 54, I hope, and of course before the end of the day today at the APRICOT closing plenary. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I think I would in turn like to thank again Paul and the APNIC staff and the APNOG board and everyone else who helps to make our events successful, including the participants, including all of the speakers, and all of the SIG chairs and everybody else that comes together and has kept the community active and vibrant for so long. I'm going to open up one more time if there are any other questions or anything. If not, we will take an earlier break. Aftav has raised his hand.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, I didn't get the access to unmute myself. Got it now. It's just an appreciation. If you were in a room, I would have literally raised a glass or cup of tea at the moment for the APNIC staff who did and APRICOT Secretariat who did an amazing job in really tough times. I mean, you all must have seen the pictures and the videos of what is happening in Brisbane at the moment. And they still arranged a meticulous event. I would really say thank you so much for really good effort. We don't see that behind the curtains because it's just happening virtually. But if you just look at the amount of effort people have done, I would say, Chair, this is really good job. So just a member, APNIC member and the community member, I would say thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I think we all echo that sentiment. After, thank you for stating it and saying it aloud. Thank you very much. As I said, I think I would love to give like 10 minutes back for everyone. Here, as I said, there are a few things we are still looking at whether we will do APNIC 54, have a face-to-face component. I'm not going to say have a face-to-face event because we know that it is going to be a kind of hybrid event and how that is done and so on. So keep a lookout for that. The APNIC survey that will happen very soon. That is important. And then, feel free to contact us anytime. And as I said, I always say, do read the annual report. There is a lot of really good information in there. And the annual report should help you give some very precise feedback to the EC and to the APNIC Secretariat during the survey, right? So, something happened here. Okay, there you go. During the survey phases. I think we are coming to an end here. So thank you very much. And also, yeah, we'll see you this is in 30 minutes, right, Sunny?
Yeah, roughly around, 25
yeah, it
minutes.
is at the top of the hour. No, it is a 45-minute break.
The next session starts at 5:15 my time.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's 15 minutes past the hour.
Yeah.
So that will be roughly around 25 minutes from now. Is this the same Zoom or it's a different Zoom?
It's a different one.
Okay, so at least in this case, for the participation, you do need to break out of this Zoom. We will end this Zoom session, and then you'll need to sign into the to the APRICOT closing plenary Zoom session after this. So thank you very much, everyone who stayed and who have attended. And as I said, hopefully next time we'll see you at a hybrid event, if not in the virtual world. Thank you very much. APNIC 53 is closed. Sunny, you can